Well, as we have seen in our conversation, we are right in the midst of the digital era. And we will continue now and going to deepen the tools
Recording in
in
progress.
terms of sustainability. And we have Mauricio Gómez, the digitalization, Siemens Large Drives Chile and Peru. Mauricio Gómez, thank you so much for inviting me. And we will go into deep in different areas. Mauricio, how do we understand the first? The transportation process, haulage. Well, this starts in blasting, and depending on the location, geography is inserted in an environment that has multiple challenges. And the main challenge is to take bulk material to the different processes of the mill so as to obtain the copper concentrate, which is our main objective. And the digitalization process we're in, that will help the process to be more efficient? Well, yes, we have different possibilities regarding sustainability. A relevant point is people, preparation, transportation. It is a significant issue when we think about sustainability. Efficiency, power efficiency, we cannot think about that without thinking about or being sustainable. And that is having a challenge, being more efficient in that challenge, decarbonization, transport, haulage of the material from the crusher, from with the shovels, from the pit to the crusher. And we work through generators and electric engines. However, we can incorporate batteries to make a hybrid model, as cars are working today. We can install different systems as the highways in Germany, and something transcendental for the country to add loading or charging cells and add green hydrogen. So Siemens Energy and Word are using a pioneer system for that. And how are these working hand in hand? Well, from that point of view, Sebastian, mining has had a significant development in the last 2 years. We have established a layer of intelligence to these processes that have an impact in safety of individuals, in preparation of individuals. And today, Sebastian, through goggles, through lenses, through earphones or headsets, they can train people, they can have different scenarios, and through that training, they would be better prepared. In terms of the footprint, we have the process of making the processes remote. So any professional anywhere in the world can have an intervention in Chile, in Copiapó, in Calama, in Antofagasta, in Los Andes, and different types of applications. And the same happens in Peru, in this cluster, Chile, Peru. And from this point of view, it has a significant improvement. We have the process of material transportation. We're having the possibility through constructions in cities. This is very popular, which is the Shanghai city, the digital city, as well as in Berlin. And they're analyzing CO2 emissions, energy consumption, and transportation. And that same concept, we're taking that to mining, to the industrial world. And with our digital twin, we want to simulate processes, routes, so as to make this more efficient and make better decisions, right? Yes, of course. We can define better paths, better routes for crushing, better traceability of the elements that are being loaded, taken to the conveyor belts, the waste that are being transferred by the conveyor belts, and reduce the change the frequency. So The digital twin has had a significant impact, not only in sustainability, in operations, in maintenance. Through these type of constructions, we can simulate different types of scenarios and be able to work on optimum points so as to make the process more efficient. These are changes that we're seeing in the operations. Well, this is a transformation that we are living in an accelerated way. And the latest in these cell plants in Los Vilos, they have this type of technology. The possibility of monitoring the critical aspects and be able to save more energy, make these processes more efficient through the construction of digital twins. This is done in Chilean mining, in Peruvian mining. This is quite significant. And in terms of virtual reality, we see the full constructions, full environment, so as to prepare professionals within mining. This is interesting. It's quite interesting because when we talk about sustainability in the full process, the role of transportation is relevant to achieve the objectives. Correct. And not only transportation of bulk material, but all the different elements that contribute to the mining process. We used to see that the water use was linked to the resources in the mining industry, but now we see the usage of seawater, diesel plants, and that is helping sustainability of the mining companies. And at that same time, it involves other challenges from the energy point of view. And in our geography, water should be taken from the seaside to a high altitude. And that implies energy consumption. So what we want to do is to incorporate technology with greater efficiency, digital platforms that will help us work on that. Mauricio, it's very interesting to see how these two markets, the Chilean and the Peruvian, are adapting themselves towards the new technology. How do you see implementation processes? Well, we find a better reception regarding the development of these types of applications. We found the need of managing knowledge in a better way from the point of view of sustainability. There is a great use of paper, and now with digitalizing everything, we're reusing the consumption of paper, and it's also having an impact in managing knowledge. All the knowledge that would stay in those papers physically that ended up lost and now are being better managed. Reception that we see in Chile and Peru is an opening towards this type of technology, not only from this point of view, but we have moved forward in making implementation better from hardware, from software, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Another important factor, also in adoption of technology, the speed, how this is changing. Well, yes, absolutely. And this is transcendental on how we are capable of taking these processes forward in digital transformation in the companies, in people, and breaking paradigms. So people will feel the value of the utilization of these platforms. How do you see that process? How do you see that process? In Peru, from the point of view of work, well, it is very relevant. It is relevant, and in any type of implementation where you have digitalization processes, and sustainability will be transcendental in a process of support and guidance in a company process. And it is important to accompany all these processes in implementation, and this is what we are doing. This is what we're doing: digitalization, these cell plants, digital twins, virtual reality, metaverse, and we are developing that.
Back to this digital twin, how do you apply to the process of the material haulage in general? It's very significant because, as I told you, the haulage of materials starts in the blasting. With the digital twins, we have the possibility to analyze how efficient is the haulage of material depending on the hardness of the material and the nature of the material. And that has an impact in the places where we do the blastings, in the geographical locations. So to look for the best areas for that process is related with the feeding that we are doing in the crushing processes, in the optimal frequency of the trucks to feed the primary crushers. It is related with how much material I can put on the conveyor belt so to make the process more efficient and to obtain at the end of the day more copper concentrate is related with the energy consumption that the conveyor belt is having or the different elements related with the material haulage, and it's related with the different elements also that are associated to maintenance, to the severity of maintenance of pulleys or rubber bins, etc. So it has a very relevant impact from the operational point of view but also from maintenance. And it's interesting to bring the sustainability issue here, not to have just a macro view of the whole process, but also in each of the stages there are a lot of details. Yes, one of the elements that we found within the material process is the waste that we have, how we are able to maximize the usage of the different elements and to reduce the frequency of replacement. And the digital twins allow us to evaluate that behavior and to maximize the use. And on the same way, we're implementing technologies that allow us to eliminate elements that are not desired or that create a great amount of waste. For example, usually in the conveyor belts, we associate the motors with the mechanical reducers. Today, we're able to drive large or high power conveyor belts without that critical element. And that the problem is consumption of oil. So we are incorporating technology that will allow us to not use critical elements in the conveyor belt that on one side they create waste and at the same time they make less efficient the system. Mauricio, so to close, let's talk about a general view for the future specifically. The industry is setting very ambitious targets in terms of sustainability and in different areas. Do you think that it's possible to reach those targets or to reduce the times according to this technological progress and the important changes that it means for many processes? Absolutely. It's going to be very relevant. The pillars that I told you from the point of view of doing the application more sustainable to work in decarbonization. Chile is being pioneer in that aspect, the production of green hydrogen, to progress in that intelligence layer that will make us to make better decisions, to work in a more optimal way with software platforms, hardware, with the usage of artificial intelligence. So finally, we see in a very optimistic way what is happening in mining, how mining is able to progress in an accelerated way in this type of processes and implementation. Thank you, Mauricio, for being here in Siemens Minerals Week. Thank you, Sebastian, for this invitation. Okay, with great progresses and at the same with huge challenges as we heard from the conversation, we say goodbye to Mauricio Gómez. He's from Large Drive Chile-Peru, Siemens. And we have more guests, and we will have a short coffee break, 15 minutes, and then we continue with great guests about technology, mining in Siemens Mineral Week 2022.